Hey everybody, Bridget here for another Bree Book Reviews video. So this is part 2 of my giant book haul that I have for you here of the collective books that I have gained from the 5 or 6 months that I've been gone. So I'm going to go over some obvious ones. So these ones are all hardbacks / large paperbacks. First book I want to go over is A Book of Spirit and Thieves by Morgan Rhodes. This is like the prequel series to the Fallen Kingdom series. I have not started this one yet. Don't ask me why, because I don't know myself why I haven't started this book. Again, I have not been into reading, and when I did get into reading here recently, it's been more adult fantasy and less YA fantasy, but I will be starting this soon. I also got Ice Like Fire by Sarah Rosh. This is the sequel to Snow Like Ashes, and I did read this one. I think I listened to this on an audiobook. I enjoyed it, but I don't know. There's just something about it. Maybe it was because I forced myself to read this during my time when my focus was on the wedding, and maybe I should be doing a reread of this series, but yeah, I definitely need to do that. Probably soon. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to pick up the third book. The next book is The Heart of Betrayal by Mary E. Pearson. This is the second book in the Remnant Chronicles. Is that what it's called? Yes, Remnant Chronicles. I have not started this book, so I don't really remember what happened in the first book. I either need to watch a couple YouTubers' reviews on them, or reread or skim through the first book before I continue on to this. At least just the end, because I remember the majority of the story. I just don't remember what exactly happened at the end of book 1. Before I continue this, I need to do that. And then the other obvious one I got is Frozen Tides by Morgan Rhodes. This is book 4 in the Fallen Kingdom series, and I absolutely loved it. This was probably my favorite volume out of all of them, and I cannot wait for the 5th book to come out. What is it, September time? But yes, I am very much anticipating that next book. This next one is just the cover of it because I'm in the middle, like I said, of reading it, but I think I told you guys that I've only read the first 1 or 2 chapters of it, so I have the cover of it right here, and that is Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series. I have to say, why is this series considered YA? Not that I have anything against it still being there, I'm just wondering what the criteria that makes YA. I just don't know anymore. I've been way too long. Another sequel I have here is Endure by Sarah B. Larson. This is the 3rd book in the Defy trilogy, the 3rd and final book, and I absolutely love all of these covers. This is a very underappreciated trilogy, I think, because it is really good. I highly enjoyed the first 2 books, and I don't really see anybody talking about this trilogy. So, Defy, it's right there on the shelf, and then Ignite underneath. Those are the first 2 books in the series. Beautiful covers. This series always has beautiful books. It's purple and pink on the inside and blue on the outside with this gorgeous shield with this rose on the front. Absolutely love this trilogy. I'm in the middle of reading this. Well, I can't say I'm in the middle of reading it right now because I paused it a while back. I probably need to reread the whole thing, just because I paused it probably back in April, about the time of the wedding. I was reading this and I was like, why am I reading this right now? I don't have time to think about that. So yeah, it's kind of like a Mulan-ish story about a girl who joins the military disguised as a man, and stuff goes down, and you should read it. And then I also picked up The Winner's Kiss by Marie Rotkowski. This is the 3rd book in the Winner's Curse trilogy, and I have not picked this up, but I am highly anticipating reading this. It's just, I was like, do I read this? Do I read A Court of Mist and Fury? I don't know which one. I kind of want to read Court of Mist and Fury first, so I picked up that one first. This one will probably be after that one, though, because I'm excited to see how the trilogy ends. Don't spoil it for me. The last hardback I have to show you guys is Flamecaster by Cinda Williams Chima. This is the 1st book in a newest series called A Shattered Realm series, and I absolutely love the Seven Realms series. I believe this is set in the same world, but just about different characters, if I'm correct. I also picked up the first 4 books in the Shadow Dance series by David Dalglish. Don't know. So we have Dance of Cloaks, A Dance of Blades, A Dance of Mirrors, and A Dance of Shadows. And I picked all of these up at a used bookstore, except for book 1. I believe I picked that one up from the bookstore like a long time ago. I've read this one, and it's very reminiscent of a kind of, if you like, a lot of characters. It does have a main character, but it does introduce a lot more characters. Political intrigue, and thievery, and mystery, and people trying to overtake lords and thrones. And if I remember correctly, I really enjoyed this first book. It's been a while. It's been a while since I listened to this one, but I do plan on continuing the series very soon because I did enjoy it. Next one is Miss Mayhem by Rachel Hawkins. This is the second book in the Rebel Bells trilogy. Third book just came out. Is it a trilogy? Does it end there? Or is it just the third book in a series? I have no idea. You can tell me. Tell me if I'm wrong. So I really, really want to start this series. I'm kind of waiting for the newer one to come out in paperback. I'm not in like a super duper rush to start it, but I absolutely loved Rachel Hawkins' other series. The witch one? Oh my god, what is it called? Her Hex Hall series. I loved that series. The characters are so hilarious, so funny. I was just like cracking up laughing through the entire series, and so I just love her writing style. And I definitely want to read this series next, but I do want to like collect the books all in the same kind before I decide to start it, because I know if I start it now, I'm going to want it and not care that I'll have a paperback with a hardback, and I'll care later. I'll care later. And here's why I know I'll care later. So, I picked up The Dream Thieves and Blue Lily Lily Blue, which is the second and third book in the Raven Boys cycle. I bought the Raven Boys, the first book, a long time ago, so I decided to get these, and here's where I'm like, Bridget, you did such a stupid thing by starting this series right now, because I am in the middle of Blue Lily Lily Blue. I'm listening to it on audio. I wouldn't say it's like blowing my mind, but I am really enjoying it. I'm reading it with my book club that I have here locally, and I'm way ahead of everybody. We're supposed to only be finishing up book 1. They don't know it, but I'm in book 3. So I had to pause it. Plus, I was thinking, what if you absolutely must read the 4th book after you finish the end of this book, and they only have the hardback because it just came out. It just came out, Bridget. You did such a stupid thing, and now you have to wait because you have all the other books in paperback. But I have a plan. I've been listening to all of these, so I'm just going to buy it on audiobook and wait for the paperback to come out and eventually buy the paperback. That way I can still read it / listen to it without having to buy the physical copy. Even though that's not any cheaper because audiobooks are hella expensive, but it'll help me sleep at night when I look at my books and they're all paperback instead of all paperback and one hardback. This next one I kind of got on a whim, don't really know anything about it other than it's fantasy. The Wretched of Muirwood by Jeff Wheeler, and this is the first in a series, I believe, and that's really all I know. Because I'm loving the Rhaeria Revelation series so much, I went ahead and also purchased The Crown Tower by Michael J. Sullivan. This is the first book in the prequel series called Rhaeria Chronicles, and I cannot wait because this is about Royce and Hadrian when they were younger and how they first meet and all that stuff, which is really interesting because just if you've read the Rhaeria Revelations, there's a lot of like stuff where they're talking about things that happened in their past, but they don't really explain it, and I want to know what those things are because they don't really go into great detail about them. So yes, this will be very soon, like next after I finish the Rhaeria Revelations. I am jumping straight into the Rhaeria Chronicles because I need to. And the last and final book I have here is The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. This is book 1 in the First Law trilogy. No idea what it's about. No idea. So that is all for this second part in my book haul. I have finally gone over all of the books, so you guys are caught up to date with everything that I have on my shelves. Stay tuned for my next video. As always, if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!